All right, let's get over to Payton Malone. He's got the latest 1 o'clock forecast from the National Hurricane Center.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, the 1 a.m. just came in here, and we do continue to see the hurricane slightly stronger as of 1 o'clock. Winds are now up to 90 miles an hour, just showing the storm structure. It has improved through the overnight hours. Pressure still around 977, so no big change there. And the northeast movement is still at 10 miles per hour. So we are still seeing it move at that steady rate at 10 miles an hour, but winds are up to 90 as of that 1 a.m. advisory. Our next full advisory will be in the 4 o'clock hour, and that will have the track update and any storm surge update, things like that. So 90-mile-per-hour hurricane, we could continue to see this strengthen. You know, we've been talking about this. Could it be a Category 2 at landfall? I mean, a Category 2 is 100 miles an hour, so we're not far off from that. But we will see. We will see if the storm structure remains or if that wind shear and dry air start to get entrained into the system. But right now it's looking fairly healthy this morning, and it's in a good environment to continue to strengthen. So once again, 90-mile-per-hour hurricane as of 1 o'clock this morning. That advisory, northeast movement still hanging on to 10 miles an hour. That will increase through the rest of the morning, and then landfall will be later this afternoon into the evening hours. That track not changing at 1 o'clock. Remember, it stays the same, with landfall going to be, there you can see, just late afternoon into the early evening. They have it just before 7 p.m. or so down here in the Bayou parishes, putting all of us, on the east side of this system. And then by Thursday morning, it's up around Jackson, Mississippi. So this thing will at least be moving through the areas we've been talking about. Now, I do want to give a quick little update on the storm surge numbers, because with a hurricane 90 mile an hour or maybe even slightly higher, we could see our numbers adjust slightly. We'll see here. But right now we're still thinking the highest storm surge is likely going to be in Terrebonne Parish, where you see these reds here. That's where our storm surge numbers are approaching that 10-foot mark. That's where we likely see our greatest inundation, along with Terrebonne Bay. So anywhere you see red here is where our models are depicting the higher storm surge. Now, if that storm center comes in around Morgan City, depending on where the winds are, you will have onshore flow in St. Mary Parish, onshore flow in Terrebonne, onshore flow in Terrebonne Bay. You're talking maybe up to 9 feet or so up here in Terrebonne Bay, just south of Chauvin. And then even just south of Houma, you have inundation all the way up into the areas that are not protected by levees. That's a difference than this within Ida. Now, these are not going to be Ida winds at all. You may have wind gusts to 90 or 100 miles an hour if it's still that Category 1 storm as it makes landfall. But the surge for Ida wasn't an issue in Terrebonne, because your winds were coming out of the north here as the storm center passed here. You had offshore flow in Terrebonne Bay. So yes, you had all that tremendous wind damage, but in this case, you're going to have more of a surge here in Terrebonne Parish. Lafourche Parish, we are expecting that, let's say 5 to 7 feet or so as we get into lower Lafourche, and then 5 to 7 feet of storm surge is a possibility in Barataria Bay, trying to back up towards getting close to Lafitte. So you can see there those values drop off as you get close to Lafitte, but down here near Grand Isle, LA1, all those, the water will be coming over the barrier island like it normally would in this type of situation. And if you go off towards the east bank of Plaquemines Parish and into eastern St. Bernard, still thinking anywhere from 2 to 5 feet for these areas. That will get some water over the eastern St. Bernard areas, like down in Wybklowski and Shell Beach. Into the Lake Pontchartrain with this current track, we would see a wind out of the south for quite a bit of time, and that would push water into St. Tammany and into Tangipahoa Parish. You could see their inundation up to 5 feet, maybe even near 7 feet in a couple spots. So models being a little aggressive there, and then right on the lakefront, I think 3 to 5 feet in Mandeville. So if you live in those properties that are right on the lakefront there in St. Tammany, water will be coming up. As long as that wind's out of the south, water will continue to be pushed up. Now, as you look further off towards the west, the east, you do see some impressive totals being shown out here in portions of Hancock County, and so we will likely see some water rise in the bays here, shoreline, where the Jordan River and the Wolf River come in. Water will back up into there as well, so you will see inundation in Hancock County as well, and a storage surge warning continues for all coastal Mississippi as well. So that is the latest as of 1 a.m. It is a now 90-mile-per-hour hurricane. If you are just joining us, the latest update just dropped from the National Hurricane Center. The storm continues to show that it's fairly healthy this morning. It's the healthy it's probably been out of its entire journey. and because of that, they have bumped the intensity up to around 90-mile-per-hour sustained winds at this hour. Hurricane warnings do continue for Terrebonne, Lafourche, and into St. James Parish. Tropical storm warnings continue for the North Shore, the South Shore, and the Metro and South Mississippi, but we do still have that hurricane watch for those areas around the Metro area. Based on that, well, we may still see some slight adjustments to our advisories and warnings depending on how strong the hurricane comes in. So we are getting ready for at least a hurricane, especially in our coastal areas, but it'll be interesting to see what the final landfall is. Right now, we're still having it at 90 miles per hour. Could be a tad bit stronger since it's already at 90 miles per hour. The one thing that would help us out is the wind shear and dry air kicking in right as it's making landfall, hoping to limit further intensification as that storm does move inland. So overall, the biggest changes with this advisory are that it is that 90-mile-per-hour hurricane. Just taking a quick look at our tropical models, checking in on what they're saying with this. And are we going to see any changes in the track? If we are going to see anything, I still think there is that opportunity for this thing to travel a little bit further east in that center line that they're depicting. Now, I want you to remember that center line, there's a reason we don't want you focused on it. There's a reason I really don't ever show it. It's because that's the center of the cone, but oftentimes the storm won't ride exactly on that center line for its entire life, especially when you get further out in time. So it is reasonable that it does bounce around inside the cone here. And remember, that's just the center. The impacts extend well outside the center here as that storm moves through. So our tropical models or spaghetti plots, whatever you want to call them, you can see there, they're still really locked in on areas here in the eastern parts of our viewing area, at least for the center. So we'll see what the Hurricane Center says. The tropical models are probably still more so on the east side. The Hurricane Center seems to be heavily weighing the western side of these models, but there is still that chance that maybe this core travels a bit closer to New Orleans and the North Shore, and we do see maybe some more significant winds with gusts 70 to 80 miles an hour. That's if the hurricane comes in as a Category 1, nearly Category 2, and travels closer to the city. So we do still need to be preparing for that. Hopefully you've got your preparations done and you can just sit back and wait for this thing to arrive. Now the good news, it's not going to be with us this morning. Things are calm right now still. I think things are going to be relatively calm through the early morning hours here on the South Shore. It's this afternoon that conditions really start to go downhill as those tropical storm force winds move in, and then occasionally those hurricane wind gusts move in as well. Guys, that is the latest as of 1 o'clock. Our next full update and track update will be at that 4 o'clock hour.
Sure thing, Peyton. I just want to ask you real quick. I mean, looking at this 1 a.m. forecast, this 1 a.m. update, any surprises here? Is it on par with what you've been seeing?
You know, I think up until this point, we were sitting here waiting to see, was this storm actually going to strengthen? Because it battled so much dry air yesterday when we were here. And it has greatly improved overnight, at least the organization. So could we see the intensity bumped up at the 4 o'clock hour? It is a possibility. Maybe they bump it back up to that weak Category 2 at landfall. We'll have to see, does this trend continue? It may be leveling off. That's what we want to happen. And so we'll just have to wait and see what these trends look like. The hurricane hunters are going to be out here soon again, and their information will be crucial, and we'll have an idea once they're actually in there on what the structure of the storm looks like, and is it intensifying or is it leveling off? We hope it's leveling off at this point. So.
Okay. So I like those odds, though, at this hour. At 1 o'clock, I like to hear that there's hope that it's leveling off and doing what you want. So, all right, Peyton, we'll let you keep working. I know you got to keep looking at the models and assess some more information, so we'll check back in shortly with you.